YouTube Tuesday from Barnabas Junction, brought to you in association with the Model Railway YouTube Community Group, MRYCG, connecting the Model Railway community together. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. Just search for MRYCG.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of series 4 of YouTube Tuesday with me, Barnabas Junction, in association with MRYCG. Thank you very much for joining me again for another fantastic episode I have planned for you, and I have got some absolutely brilliant work that I've been doing over the past few days to show you all. As you can see over the shoulder, lots of products that I've been working with, lots of WWS products, and we're going to be talking about those products that we went into a bit of detail last week in the very first episode. I said to you, we're going to be working on the layout throughout this episode, and I have already started, and I've got to say, I'm very pleased with the results. So a little bit, I'll be showing you that all in a very moment. Jason going away, yes, need a shave. So good evening to one and all. It's great to see so many of you already here at the beginning of the stream. Let me scroll back to the very beginning. So good evening to Banford Junction, Digger Evans, Leamington Station, good evening to you. Flymo Junction, hello, thanks for joining us. Island Scenics, Tim, good evening to you. Hope you are well. Morning, afternoon or evening, he says. It's evening for us, as we're in the UK. Brian at Finnerton Central, hello, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Durham Junction, Craig, hello. Great little video live stream today with the daughter. Who else have we got in? Scrolling through, David Atkins, good evening to you. It's early for you, we know that. Who else have we got in? Scrolling through lots of chats. Great to see so many of you chatting. Simon's Trains, Simon Pill, good evening to you. Finnerton's on the hashtags. DB Shanker, thanks very much. No, it should be DRS. Come on, guys. Gary BVR, good evening to you. Owen's Model Railways, good evening, Owen. Thanks for joining us. Timber Surf, Gallo, he says. Gallo to you too. Train Freak Jason, hello. Thanks for joining us. Gareth White, up well and onwards. Aaron, good evening to you. Or morning to you, actually. Model Railway Noob, good evening to you also. Arthur Humphreys, hi. Jason and everyone, hi. Arthur, how are you? Hope you are well and keeping safe. As with all of you, Quarry Central also. Jason, another Jason, thank you for joining us. Crikey, the chat's going nuts. Waddle Road, Ollie, good evening. Good evening, Jason, and all in chat. Good evening to you. Eagle Creek, wow. Wow. It's a long time no see. How are you? Great to see you here. Matthew Whitmore from up the road. Take care to you. Thanks for joining us. The Growler, good evening to you. CSX Wrensville, good evening. Everyone is still saying good evening to each and one and all. So thank you all for joining us. Crossways Point Junction, evening, everybody, he says. Thank you very much, Crossways, for joining us. Right, so, yes, I have been busy, very, very busy. Yes, it has been too long. Great to see you. Simon's Model Trains, that's another Simon's Trains channel. Did everyone see the Freightliner Class 90 dragging a failed Class 70 on the aggregates train? I bet Stuart would have liked to have seen a failed 70. Yeah, he would have done. He would have probably modeled it as well. So, yeah, good evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. First of all, I need to do this. So hopefully you can still hear me. So many thanks to all the channel members for joining me. For the likes of Train Freak, Humanity Junction, Owens Model Railways, Leicester Station TMD, Building the LR, Selman's Trains, Flint Hills, Jeff Hammond, Mike Pringle, Donegal Dad, Sparky 107, Quarry Central, Paul Cynic, Hollybrook Junction. I'm going to bring that up again, actually. Let me just bring that up again because I never get to read it in time. Container Man 68, Hollybrook Junction, The Growler, Chris Job, New Durham Junction Model Railway, Valleybrook 2, John Dawson, Dave Smith, Effingham, and the TVR, which is now, I know TVR, he's changed his channel name back to Dave Williams now, so I need to update that. So many, many, many thanks to all of you for being channel members, supporting the channel in any way you can, from as little as just 99p. If you want to become a channel member, as it says there, links to channel members listed above can be found below, and also how you can become a channel member and help support the channel in all its glory. Chelmsford Junction, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Southern Train Girl, Nikki, hello. Thanks for joining us always. Moreland Model Railway. Andy Hudson, hi. Good evening from Worley. Hope you are well. And talking of that, you can catch me on the Worley channel tomorrow from, I think it's 2 p.m. So if you want to see a little bit more of the layout and a bit of chit chat with the Worley guys, come and join the Worley Model Railway channel for YouTube and on Facebook tomorrow. Amtrak Junction, Ray, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Kevin Shawbridge Junction, also good evening to you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Right. So let's get a quick drink. We're on the Pink Hooch tonight. Should have warmed it up a bit. It's freezing enough already as it is. I think it's about -1 up in the loft. I have got the heater on, just taking the chill off a little bit. It's been on about half an hour, and it's just about keeping it a bit tepid. I've got this on to keep my neck warm because it's cold around the old neck. Right, so we've been working. As you can see, I've got loads of stuff up here that I've been working with products on the layout here. I'm going to spin the camera around in a moment and show you what I've been up to, how things have progressed already, and we're going to go and try and do a little. I'm going to show you a little bit about what I've been doing. Now, again, huge thank you to Tim of Island Scenics for gratefully donating the Pico static grass applicator, which is actually produced by WWScenics. So huge thank you to that. I have really been putting that to the test, comparing that to my homemade one. And I've got to say, yeah, this is, in my opinion, it does produce a much better and quicker result, much more of an improved result compared to what I've previously done. So when I spin the camera around, I'll show you what I've previously done with my homemade one, and we'll compare it against what I've done using this. And if I get the opportunity, we will be having a blast with this and showing you how I have managed to recover some of the work I'd already done previously with my homemade static grass applicator. Eagle Creek Yard, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. Level 2 Brakeman. That will go. I'll get you updated on the membership list. Thank you very much for becoming a channel member. It's much appreciated. So yeah, the static grass applicator I have. Oh, there is actually a bit in it. Ooh, I better take that out. Yeah, so brilliant stuff. We're going to be looking, and then the title of this was is WWScenics Products any good for model railways? Well, the straight answer from what I've produced is 100% yes. Now, with the invaluable and priceless advice and support from Martyn Rees, the owner of WWScenics, I would have never, and obviously all you guys up there and watching online tutorials that other modelers have done, because me, I'm a complete and utter novice really with the Scenics. What I've done, in my opinion, is 100% better with what I'd previously done. So what I've previously done will be getting an upgrade, as we say, using the new WWScenics products. So we're going to be looking at what I've used and what I've created using what I've got. So I think, shall we have a look how things are going? Let's have a look at the chat. Everyone's still saying hello to each other. I've just bought one, still waiting for it to come in the post. It's been nearly 2 weeks. That's Crossways. So you just got one of this. You will not be disappointed. This is a particular model. I'm not sure exactly which model it is. Martin did tell me it's one of their very first ones that they produced, and obviously it was rebranded for Pico, but it's exactly the same product they do. It's WWS that produce these for Pico, and I've got to say it is brilliant. So you will not 100% be dissatisfied. You will be amazed with what you can produce much better. But bearing in mind, these can be rather expensive, but I would say it's money well spent if you can only afford the funds. I've thankfully and totally unexpectedly, Tim over at ISC did generously donate this to me, and I'm eternally grateful for that, because I would never have been able to afford one of these without a doubt. And that's why I produced my homemade one, to see what I could produce with that. And I can see the differences now between the homemade one and also because of the thicknesses of grasses and stuff that are needed. My homemade one, that gauze there is so much bigger for getting the static grasses through. I did think these would have been a bit too big for the likes of the 2mm, but no, it's absolutely ideal. I think the homemade one would be only really any good for the really thin static grasses. This is ultimately so much better. I've got two of them, large and a small one, says Chelmsford Junction. Just looking back through, Roy says, I have all applicators, couldn't do my layout without them. Yes, I could, because they do produce quite a lot of them, and I'm really, really impressed. And to be honest, I think it's going to be very difficult for me now to change my ways from what I've now gone and learned with using these and the WWS products. Without a doubt, the results are so much better. So just looking through the chat, I wish I could afford one, but I think they are terribly expensive. Yes, they are expensive, but I say if you can follow one reasonably cheap, you will not be you will not be disappointed with the results that you'll get with one. So if you can get your hands on one, then please do. I highly recommend it. Would anyone recommend cheaper applicators on eBay or the homemade ones? The homemade ones, Gareth, they are good. I've got one. I'll just go and grab my homemade one. Where did I put it? There it is. This is the homemade one I did make using T-strainer, electric fly swatter, and a couple of batteries, a couple of AA batteries in there, and obviously the wire for the staticking. Now, the T-strainer, in my opinion, with the homemade one, I should have done it a bigger gauze. I think the gauze on the homemade ones is the big downfall on this, because this is really, really thin gauze. So it's really got to be small grasses to go through this. I think it'll be still okay for maybe 2 mils, but anything more than a 2 mil, this will struggle. Also, the fact is, this actually only takes 2 AA batteries. Unlike this one, so that's 2 AA's, that's 3 volts. Unlike this one, it's 9 volts. So you're getting 3 times more static charge than the homemade one. So if you can maybe get a fly swatter with a 9 volt, that might make a difference. Yes, Chalmers is saying he's recommending it. Gareth, I'm trying to keep up with chat. It is an investment and it will last you a lifetime, so it will pay for itself. Andy Hudson says there regarding the Pico one. Totally agree. And like I say, I would never really afford one myself. So big thanks to Island Scenics for generously and unexpectedly donating that over. My wife bought Howard Promfet. Thank you for joining us. My wife bought me one, WWS one for Christmas, but not used it yet. Get using it as soon as you can. Get practicing with your Scenics. You will not be disappointed with it. Link to the WS page. They start at £49. Andy Hudson. So let me just do this. Andy, I'm just going to add you as a moderator, if you don't mind. In fact, actually, Flymo's posted and Andy Scenics have posted the link. Thank you very much, chaps. Andy, I've set you as a moderator also. Just need to get the middle-sized one, but I might get the new small one. I think the small one's going to be really good. I think I could have benefited, because this is in a loft. You can see, obviously, the apex of the roof, but getting into the corners was a little bit difficult with that, into the apex of the roof, if you know what I mean. The smaller one, which would have got into a more finer accuracy, I think would have been a big help. But not to worry, because the way I've done it, it actually looks okay. If you are a WX Facebook page, you get a 50% discount. Indeed, you do. WS do a deal for 2 when ordering together. Luke APS did a comparison between all of them on the green scale, and WS come out as the best value. Fantastic stuff. You just need to put the clip anywhere into the ground. You don't need. Yes, actually, that's. Now you mentioned that. I did mention it briefly last week, and it was due to when I had the conversation with Martyn. He did say about the myth of the wire having to be stuck into the glue. It's completely just a myth. You do not need to do that, because the static charge, this just needs to be in front or just to the side. That is it. That's all you need to do. When you're shaking it away, just have it near to create so that the static grass is drawn out of it as you're shaking it, and it will literally just fly into your adhesive or whatever you might do. So yeah, so you're just basically doing that. This does not need to be stuck into the glue. That is just a myth, and it works. It has produced a much better result. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll get you to we'll spin the camera around and we'll show you. And here's WWScenics. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. I'm not sure who it is. Is it Martyn? Hopefully it is Martyn or any of the guys. Thank you for joining us. Fantastic products, and I'm going to show you what I've achieved. I have briefly shown Martyn some sneaky peeks of what I've done already. And I told him how impressed I was with the products. So let's get this across. Let me just move that out of the way. So let's get you spun round and have a look at the before, because I can kind of do a before, and then we'll look at the after, what I've produced since. Okay, so here we go. Try and spin you around. Don't get dizzy. Okay, so you may have just got a glimpse then of what I've done. So here is the rock face area. You can see the 158 Arriva there. And just below it, you can see my results that I did with my own homemade static grass. This here. This was done probably nearly 18 months ago. And I thought it was fantastic when I first did it. I was so impressed with it. But I'm now looking at this, even now, after what I've done, and I think this is terrible. Some of you might think it's really good, and indeed, it was. It was really good. This was using some modelling material static grasses, using the homemade static grass applicator. It's cheap products, because that was all I could afford. And I thought I did a fantastic job with that. I will be going back over this, and I can confirm this can be fixed without even taking any of it off. And I'll show you why in a moment. So over in the distance, you can see the mirror rock face. 158. This is still yet to be done. But just here, you can see where I'd done up to. Just in this corner. Okay, so let me take you over there. So here we go. I'm now going to show you my results. And this is what excited me when I did it. So I'm just going to move the tripod. Okay, so just bear with me while I wobble the camera. Whoop, there goes the camera. Okay. Let me see if we can just tighten that up. Hopefully that is, oh, it's not level. So that is the view through the beam down the track line. And you can see, just tilt that camera down so you can see the before and the after. Move it over a little bit. There we go. So you can see a lot of trees. And yes, that's just nice now. Now, I'll quickly just move that out of the way and we'll explain that one in a moment. So up to approximately here is where I'd done previously. If you remember, it was this section here I previously done with my homemade static grass applicator. Now, this section here, this upper area, is nowhere near finished. It's just a base area to start on. And I have used this to relay over what I'd already done here. And I am really pleased. The outcome has been superb. Now, just looking at the chat and what everybody's saying. So you turn the WS stuff into class 158. No worries. Only down the road from me, and literally around the corner from where I work in Clinton. Mine looks like that. Compared to what you've done in the past few days, it's okay. Digger, how's it? And that's from Dinmore. Oh, hello, Dinmore Junction. Despite you coming. That bridge wasn't there before. No, it wasn't. And I'll come back to that in a moment. Sorry, guys. I would say hi to you all, but but it won't work for me. Yeah, I have that issue as well. But just say hello, everybody. That's everyone covered. Dave Smith, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Looking good. Everybody's saying there. Thank you very much. So, with the advice from Martyn, he did mention about what sort of order to do static grassing in. Now, I'll just let you know, the ballast is just sprinkled on at the moment. That is just there for viewing to see what it looked like. None of it's glued down, and it's nowhere near finished ballasting. That is just a general quick scatter of some ballast just to see what the view looked like, and it's looking okay. Let me just bring the microphone over a bit further so you can hear me better. You should be able to hear me fine. Cheapest chips says WWScenics. Thank you very much. Right, so let me just grab what I've used. So we want the autumns, right? 2 mil autumn, 4 mil autumn, 6 mil autumn, and 2 mil summer. Those are the 3 or 4 I've currently used. I've not finished yet. So to start with, I worked with autumn. Now, I did mention to Martyn that I wanted to create like a late summer, early autumn scene across this area. And with his advice, he advised me of which ones to get. And he did recommend the autumn and the summer mix. And also, I did mention I wanted a bit of roughness around the ballasting area of the train. So I've got that, but that's what the patch is for. That will be going, being reapplied around the edge of the ballast once the ballasting is done and in place. So I've used the 2 mil autumn applied first. Now, Martyn did advise putting the 2 mil down first as your base layer. Now, with this particular applicator, and Martyn has explained it recently in a video, if you do that with 2 mil, it will literally flood out. He does recommend tilting at the side and sprinkling generally at the on a corner like that with your 2 mil. Okay, otherwise it literally will just fall out because of the size of the gauze in the bottom. Anything above 2 mil, it's perfectly fine. You can if it's say 4 mil, you can do at that angle. 6 mil, definitely at that angle, not a problem. And anything above. So I started off with the 2 mil. As you see, I used quite a bit of this 30-gram bag. Still plenty there. What you see there is done all this area already. And then after I applied that, so obviously we go on with the layering spray. Now, I had a few questions from some other modelers asking me, what actually is this? Now, I've worked with a lot of aerosols products over in time, and some people and a lot of people will use and say use hairspray. Well, I can tell you now, this is not hairspray, and hairspray will only give you a very short time of use. Generally, hairspray, you can use it, but after so long, it breaks down and your static grasses could very easily just become loose. But this stuff, it's more like, I would say, carpet adhesive. I'm not saying it is that product, but from my knowledge of doing carpet laying and stuff like that, the smell from the product to me is more like carpet spray adhesive. It's definitely thinner than carpet adhesive, but the smell, the aroma it gives off, it reminds me of that product. So definitely not hairspray. So the myth of using hairspray, this knocks it out of the water a bit. This is really, really good. So if you're doing this, do as Martyn has advised me. Get your static grasses done. Get your first layer down. You've obviously done your gluing. You can use their basing glue. You can use a PVA mix if you wish to. He does recommend that their basing glue is a lot better for it. I haven't got any, so I did go with the PVA, and I did achieve, obviously, reasonable, good results in my opinion. So applying the 2 mil as my base layer. Now that went also over the area I'd already done. And straight away, the result was brilliant. It saved this area. It's, like I say, it's not. This is not finished. Whatever. This is just base layer. I then went on, and so I then, after applying that, I gave the whole area a spray of the layering spray, and that's still full. I've used loads of that, and it's still full. I then applied 4 mil mix autumn over the top of the 2 mil. Straight away, it's that quickly. You can do this straight away. There's no waiting for anything to dry. So you've done your 2 mil, you've done your PVA, you've done your 2 mil, applied your layering spray, straight on with the 4 mil. Easy as chips, as Martyn says there. And then again, layering spray, and then straight on with your next mix. Now you can see here, this 6 mil, I have used this, but look how full that still is. That's how little I needed to put on. There's still going to be a lot more
of the longer stuff, because this is going to be very overgrown. This section here between the upper and lower level, this will be very overgrown. Plus, I'm going to be doing this section in the middle here, just behind the post. So I'll bring the camera around in a moment to give you all a better look. And with using that advice, using those techniques, I did apply a slight skittering, as you can see, of the summer over this area here, as this is a bit of a contrast. I wanted a bit of a greener area underneath this before I then go back over and add more of the 6mm overgrown. So what I've achieved through that. So if anybody wants to do static grassing, I highly recommend getting these WWS products. They are fantastic, and I will be sticking with them. So before we go any further, the bridge. Now, I did have, and I'll just grab it. I had this for Christmas, and this is in fact a WWS product. I had laser cut footbridge for Christmas, WWS, and I wasn't going to put that here. Now, when I came to take it apart, I thought, I've got an embankment. I don't really want to be partly destroying this product to take off. So if I get that, place that there, I'm not going to be using the other steps on the opposite side. I suddenly had a brainwave, and I don't have many of them, but I had this old footbridge that I acquired exhibition when we used to go to them. But it was broken. As you can see, there's the other step area. It had been snapped. And I thought, hey, hang on. Wouldn't that look good just there? In place of basically what I was hoping. So it's given me exactly what I wanted. Now, the footbridge off the other end is obviously going to sit straight on the embankment and then go across to the barrel crossing here. And then over the, people can get over the stile. There will be more fencing with another stile here. And then they've got access to the gravel path going off into the distance. So that has turned out to be the perfect placement for the footbridge that I initially planned. This will be getting painted. I did trial to paint it in some green acrylics, but it didn't turn out very well because this is aerosol, silver aerosol. So I'm going to get some green spray paint and give that a good green coating. I'm saying, what's an exhibition? Yeah, indeed. So that's going to go there. What I'll do now is I'm going to bring the camera. I'm just going to have a quick drink, because you're going to really like what you see close up on this. Now let's bring the camera around and give you a different overview of what's produced. Let me move the footbridge out of the way so I can get the camera really close. So let's bring the camera down nice and low so you can get a good view. So there's the barrel crossing area. And I'll use a little pointy stick. So this is where the barrel crossing will be. I've run out of the pieces for the barrel crossing, so I've got to get myself some more. And you can see I put a little stile there using the cut-offs from the fencing kit that I got. So over there, into here. Now, I've also used another product from WWS, and I'll come to that in a moment, on how I made this footpath, this dirt track, and also how I got to stick these bits and bobs down and these bushes and this lichen. So I'll come to that in a moment. So barrel crossing across along the footbridge. Also, the bits that are stuck down there, they're also stuck using another WWS products. In fact, what I'll do, I'm going to show it you now. And this is really good stuff. I've always used the stringy stuff for sticking down my bits of bushes and stuff. Yes, it is really stringy. Can be quite annoying at times, to be honest. But what I've got is the fast tack. I'll just turn the camera. It's fast tack glue. This stuff is brilliant. It's as strong, I would say, as super glue, but runny like PVA, or not as runny as runny as thick PVA. This is brilliant stuff. As you can see it slopping about. It is runny, but it's like super glue, and it is fast tack glue. After a while, it even stuck my fingers together. It's that good. It doesn't take long to dry. It is, as it says, fast tack. It does stick things down very quickly. Now, that is what I used for sticking down the bushes and the dirt track. That is rock hard. So basically all I did was poured some of this tack glue down and then sprinkled some dirt and gravel. That's actually the whiter bits. That's actually very, very fine ballast. Use its gravel. And in fact, in some places you can just see, because it's that cold up in the north, it has struggled a bit to dry. If you see little white, in fact, let me get the pointer, you can just see there's a bit of whiteness. That's the glue that's still a little bit wet down there. So it is drying. That was one of the last areas I did. So it is drying. When it is warm, it will dry really fast. It is cold in this loft. It's been about -8 at times in this loft over the past few days. Things are struggling to dry. So I've not really done anything. And I'll just give you an example of something in a moment that's taking forever to dry because of how cold it is. Looking at the chat. What look, Jason? Nice one. Okay, have a good one, guys. Great stream. Speak to you all tomorrow. Thank you very much, WWScenics. Train Freak looks good. Cheers, Martin. Keep well now. Finishing by Martin. Link to WS Digger. Great stuff. Jason, you want to paint the raised part of the wall paper white as clouds. That is something I'm looking at doing. Because this is actually rough, bubbly paper, I'm thinking of just getting some whitish grey blobs of paint and just literally trying to make a few clouds on this, just to give it that effect of a cloud scene. So let's move the camera around and follow the path. And you can see there I've got trees in there, and what I've done is I've tried, and I think I've successfully achieved, a forced perspective of view. When looking down low and looking through, if you're looking, it's like looking into the distance. The trees in the distance will be a lot smaller. So these are really small conifers that I found that I forgot I had. And then there's the small trees that I showed last week that I got, 150 of them. There will be a lot more of these going in yet. And then in the forefront, I've got my medium plastic trees. These are plastic trees. And I'll see if I've got one. I think I went and used them all, but I have got one. If I can, no, I can't lift it back out. I've glued it back in. But I've got one amongst all these that I have not modified. They are still in the original. In fact, you can just see where my fingers were there. This one in this corner. So when you get around to that one, you'll see what it used to look like. What I've done is I've got these plastic trees, which actually I have got, if I can find the bag. I've got some of the bigger ones that I have not yet modified. Let me just, I've got them here somewhere. Where have they gone? It's an absolute mess up here with Scenic Products. Where have I put them? Where have they gone? Aha, I think, yes, I found them. Right. So, this is a plastic tree. they're okay. They're good, but they still look very plastic. Those looked exactly like that originally. But what I did is I sprayed that with WWScenics layering spray and then dipped it into scatters. So basically, just got it when it's sprayed, got it in there, sprinkled it, dusted it off, bashed it off, and then left them to dry. And it was dry within 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, each one was. That's given me a much more realistic tree using cheap plastic trees. They're a bit thick in places, but that was because I was a bit impatient. You could make them look a lot thinner, but these are going to have the same treatment, and these, which I haven't got many of, will be more in the forefront down here. Okay, so these will be along here, dotted along this front area here, up till roughly where we get to the rock face over there. So it will give that perspective, forced perspective, hopefully. And I've been taking some photographs, and a particular photograph I did take clearly does give the impression. It was actually the picture on the thumbnail, but because I put the wording over it, you couldn't see it. That was a bit of a trick. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can get the camera right down for you and see whether you get the effect. I may have to take the camera actually off the stand. Yeah, do you know what? I am going to. Let me just give me a moment while I shake you about and take the camera off the stand. There we go. Right, so if I place the camera there, you now can see a forced perspective view. The further you look back in the scene, the smaller the trees get. So it forces you to think, forces the eye to think that you are looking further and further into the distance. So let me take it in for a closer look. Right. Let me tilt that. Let me get the angle nicely. Here's the wife. Good evening. Right. There we go. There we go. Let me just take that down a little bit more. The wire's trying to tilt the camera. We'll just wait for the camera to return. There we go. There we go. I think, have we got it? No, camera needs tilting up a bit. I'll get it right in a moment. It's because I'm looking at two screens. Up a little bit more. Tilt that. The camera's trying to fall forward. There we go. I think, yay, we've got it. There you go. So, yes, you can see there the forced perspective. Scrapline, good evening. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, there you go. You can see the forced perspective. Now, if I bring this 158 into scene, I'll try and replicate what we saw in the image. There you go. There's your forced perspective. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken it off a little bit so it's not as bright. I don't want it too dark. How's that? That's better. So you get the train up close and you get the trees in at the difference. Why didn't I paint the roof spot? I did think of that afterwards, but a bit difficult now. I think I should have done. What is the actual distance from track to wall? Do you mean the wall right at the very back there? I don't know, actually. Let me just grab a ruler and I will tell you. And I'll give it in several different measurements. So, right to the very back conifers, to the train, to the centre of the rail is 12 inches. Which is 30.5 centimetres. So the centre of the rail to the very back conifer is 12 inches, a foot basically. So a foot distance is probably given the illusion of maybe, well, I don't know really, quite a long way to be honest. Everyone's saying hi to Rach. Yeah, so David Atkins, the distance is 1 foot. Thank you very much, Jack. Will do, not sure when I'll be doing some scenics. We'll still wiring track on the new build. This is Andy. So I'm going to move that back out of the way again because we ain't finished there. That's just one side. So again, using WWS products, that's how it's gone. Now, the fencing, that was supplied, I can't remember the company now, but I'll put a link in the description afterwards. The fencing is this stuff. It's laser cut, and it comes in different colours. You can get it in this black, you can get it in white, and you can get it in grey. And it's really flexible, and it's really easy to work with. And you get a sheet of 8 of these, and these are, I'll just give you the length of these. I think these are a foot long each. These are, I'll do it in centimetres, 27 centimetres in length each. And you get 8 of those. But if you buy 2 packs, you get a 3rd pack of them for free. And I think I paid for all 3 packs, I think £4. It was £4.58, something like that. It was. I was considering painting them, but I think them keeping them black gives that bit of a rustic look to them. Really old wooden rustic look to them. So yeah, I've left them black. So I'm going to move you along now to the opposite side of the beam. And we have a different scene here. Let's see if we can keep the camera flat. And this is the scene that's caused me a bit of a headache on drying time. You can see a little, and also, I'll just mention before we do, please don't say, it's too blue. I know it is. We've got a little tiny lake stroke pond area in the distance. I'll actually just lift the camera so you can have a closer look. So that's looking down. So we've got a bit of a lake in the distance there. And a bit of an idea. I'm thinking about maybe putting some tents and maybe look like an old campsite that's been next to it. So that area at the front, just here, I have left blank. I'm thinking about putting some tents and maybe a little campfire in front of the lake. Now, the lake has not dried. That is PVA with a very, very mild drop of blue acrylic paint. And trust me, it was only a tiny drop. Now, I've still got a load of it. I've got the tub of the stuff here. And I'll just grab the tub. So let me just spin you around. There's the tub. And you can see it still moves. That's not dry. It has thickened up a considerable amount because it was very, very runny. But it's not dried. So hopefully when the weather warms up, it will naturally dry out. But at least it is sealed because it's not seeping through the scenics at all. And let me just take you in for a close look. It's naturally giving its own. I'll take this camera out to show you. You can see the different shades of blue that are occurring naturally in it. What I will do is I will darken it off a little bit over time when it kind of has dried. But what I did do is before I poured the stuff in, I did paint around the edges with the brown muddy look, as you can see around the edge. And also on the far end, just underneath the ridge of conifers, you'll see like grey. I painted it like with a rock face. A few bottles of scrape over its emulsion. Get a hairdryer. It could do. So fingers crossed over time that will dry up. And I'll just give you, actually, while we're here, we'll give you, let's have a closer look at the scene from this view. I think that's quite effective. It gives the effect of the railway line on a slight embankment if you look carefully. Now, remember, the ballasting is not finished. It's just basically just been placed down. It's nowhere near finished. It still needs a bit more ballasting on it yet. And it needs the patchy grass adding around the edging, around the fencing as well. The overgrown look, which will then obviously be continued down the embankment. So I'm quite pleased with how that's seen. This is all produced, apart from the little tiny bushes and the liching, and obviously the trees. All the grassing was done using WWS products and the static grass applicator. And that's actually a very good view there, isn't it? So if feel free for anybody to grab a screenshot of that. That looks, just take that beam out of the view. That's very good, that, isn't it? Now, I have forgotten to do the essentials. We are already 52 minutes in, and I've not done any shout-outs. Oh, Lord, I've not done any shout-outs. How very unlike me. So I'm going to scan through all the chat right now. And I'm going to randomly choose. Yes, there's going to be one. Right, so admins at the ready, please. Channel admins at the ready, if you would kindly get ready for a link for the first shout out of today's. Gareth, wait, Jason, what's your favourite bit of scenery build so far? Gareth, this is undoubtedly my favourite scenic build so far. I'm just catching up on the chat. Train Feet says, gotta run, see you next time, Jason. Thank you very much, Train Feet, for joining us. Everyone's chatting amongst themselves. Everyone's chatting to the wife. Yeah, thank you very much. Then roof supports were painted black by me because the walls were white to begin with. Yeah, we created the whole beams in the loft. They're all painted black to give a bit of the black and white building theme. So I know I wouldn't paint the beams themselves blue anyway, but I kind of got used to them being there and they kind of get ignored anyway. So the first shout out, I'm going to do a number of shout outs all at once. Now this show is only going to be, I did say this show would only be for an hour. I may just stretch for a little bit longer today because still got plenty to show you. And I'm going to give you a blast with the applicator quickly as well. Andy, the 68 vid. I've got a 68 vid. If you are become a channel member, you do get first look at the Class 68 sound installation of the destroyer that was here that you saw maybe last week. I'll give you a brief look at. If you want to see that before anybody else, you can do if you become a channel member. So first shout out for today. Are we ready? And I'm going to add that back because that was one of the resets. Is Crossways Point Junction. Crossways Point Junction. Now, I did say if you wanted to have a shout out, you've got to be here in the chat. Thank you very much, Lemonton. The scene, I am so over the moon with it. And it helps if I don't have the camera tilted, doesn't it? I am seriously over the moon with it. And obviously the scene does continue around this side over here. Somerset Andy, I will just let you know I am shutting my channel down because I'm fed up with abuse. All grow up people I have respect for people in these better. Oh, that's so upsetting. Please, oh, Andy, you need just ignore the trolls out there. It's your channel. You do what you want on your channel. Please don't let others ruin it for you. If you have your channel and you do, oh, crossways. There we go. Oh, thank you very much, MRYCG. Thank you very much. That's so upsetting at the Somerset Andy. Your channel will be greatly missed by myself. So yeah, the scene is coming along, and there's still so much with this scene yet to be done. Obviously we've got to come back over the trackways. We've got to do all the ballasting here. Now, the one thing I am wondering is this center area. Now we'll go over to the center area because we need to move on. This center area here. This is the bit that was recovered using WWScenics Products. I'm not sure what to do. Well, I am kind of. Now, first of all, let me put the foot crossing back in. There we go. It's right in front of you guys. Not the best place to stick it. As you can see, that foot crossing does look the part just there. So a bit too high, actually. So that does look the part. I'm not sure whether to have the fencing at the bottom area as well, again, as at the top area up here to fence off this upper level, or put a small, like a very low of maybe the fence height retaining wall up to the rock face just up there, and then just basically fizzle it out to nothing as we get along to this. Or shall I just keep the fencing? I could put the fencing on the bottom and on the top. I've got plenty of them, so that we're fencing top and bottom. And then in between the fencing, I'll just see if I can get. So in between the fencing, I would put the trees and bushes and not all the overgrown off, or just keep it on one side. I'll put the wall. I'm not sure. Top and bottom. That area is screaming out for a signal box. Well, there's no. Yes, I could actually, because I've got the point work. I could put a signal box somewhere. Maybe that might be an idea. Good thoughts there, Leamington. Not Leamington, sorry, Finniton Central. Top and bottom. Fencing top and bottom, fence top, wall bottom, or just at the bottom. Just at the top, fence at the top. I would put it at the top, top and bottom. Ooh! Can you mention the MRYCG Juniors new competition? I don't know about it. So, but Benton, you'll need to put it in myself. But bottom and top. Okay. Bottom and top. I think bottom and top is winning. To the left of the bridge, Jason. Oh, right. So you mean like there? Put a signal box there in this space here. Is that what you're on about? I could do. Because this here, this will be a foot crossing. I've already put the barrel crossing in here. So this will be coming to here. And then this will go to a footpath where the pub will be. It'll go behind the pub. So yeah, you've got an idea there. I think I've explained that many times already in the past. So I did do that. I do like one thing I did, and this is what was making me think. I do think, I'll see if I can recreate it on this. I did it on a photograph. I do think the fencing under the bridge looks very effective. In fact, looking at that now, the fencing above as well. Obviously, you won't really see the fencing above because it'll be hidden by bushes and trees. But from that view, I think you guys could be quite right. What's a pub? Yeah. Oh, in the embankment. Sink it into the embankment, you mean? Sink the signal box into the embankment? It would mean me cutting away my rock face, and I've already replaced it once. But that's still got to be fully weathered up yet. Thank you very much, chat, Flymo. And it's a great spotter's vantage point. Now, what I will show you, that bridge, if I can recreate it, if you were as a train driver, that's the view that you would get down the line, which I do think is very effective. I think the bridge is just right where it is. It doesn't hide the curve, but it gives a visual visualness before you hit the curve, if you can understand what I mean. Right next to where the fence ends now. You mean, oh, you mean, right. Do you mean where my finger is? There. Put a signal box there, you mean? Well, there's nothing. If I put a signal box there, there's nothing really for it, as the nearest point work is right down there. Really, a signal box would probably be more beneficial roughly here, and this has got to be worked on. So maybe a signal box somewhere there. Oh, the other end, that end, you mean? So in there, roughly where the rock face would end. Is that what you're thinking? Something to me to contemplate in the future. Yeah, yes, he says. I'll have a think about that. Thank you very much for the... I need a drink, hang on. Thank you very much for the interest. I will... doesn't that look like a face there? Sorry, just looking on back on the... Look, 2 eyes and a mouth. It's the face in the hill. Let me take it in for a closer look. Hello! It's a face. We've got hidden a spooky face in the hillside. That's creepy, isn't it? Very creepy. Oh, yeah, that's spooking me out a bit now. Like this, I'll have to get rid of that. So let's get on then straight away with another shout out, I think. So we've had Crossways Junction. Make sure when you go to check out Crossways, you hit subscribe, you click the bell, and you select all for the notifications to be notified of all future updates. And this goes with anybody you subscribe. And make sure you interact with any channel that you are subscribed to, any channel that you choose to subscribe to. Interact and view their videos, comment, give them some thumbs up, thumbs down. It can be either of them. Thumbs up or thumbs down, they are totally the same thing. It's irrelevant. I couldn't care less if I get thumbs down. I couldn't care less if I get thumbs up. Either of them, it's just an algorithm interaction. That's all it is. It means nothing else. So yeah, give them thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you wish. Hit them subscribe, hit the bell, select all, and comment. View at least a couple of their videos to interact with the channel. And I do recommend, if you can, if it's possible, interact with that channel at least once every couple of weeks. Eek, ghosts in the layout, the haunted hill face. Cheers, John PW. The face you make when a layout lacks a D. Oh, someone had to do it. Thanks, Simon. Don't get rid of it. Oh, the top of the creepy face. On top of the creepy face, yeah. Oh, Jason, your face could be Mr. Grimm's face. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, it could be Mr. Grimm hidden in the hillside. So let's have a look. I am now scanning through the chat. Let's see who can be shout out number 2. Number 2 can go to Leamington Station. We're going to give out, bearing in mind, even if you've had a shout out before, I will give you shout outs again just for being here in the chat during these live streams. So Leamington Station is second shout out for today. Thank you very much, Leamington, for joining us. I hope you are doing well. It was great to see you actually on the live stream last night with Heath. It was great to see you doing some of your electronics, doing some soldering work on your control panel. Very good evening from Matthew Finton. Jason from Somerset, good evening to you. If you shine a light at it, does it disappear? If so, switching the light off would make it appear when you wanted. Stuart, did you get the class 68 dB shank? Oh, crikey. Right, okay. Let's have a look at that creepy face again. Let's see if it disappears when we put the light on. It changes. Is it me? Or does it change to a happy face? That's weird. Have you done a video on how to use a static grass applicator? The homemade one or the Pico one? I will be. There will be in the videos coming up. I was hoping to try, and that is creepy. That face looked like Alexandra the meerkat. Sorry, I can't help it. It's vile, says the wife. That's creepy. Seems to be smiling now. Yeah, I'm going to put the light on it. That's weird. Look, it has my smiling eyes. You seem to have static grass to me. Yeah, so Leamington Station. Graham, your shout out number 2 for this evening, and I will get ready with shout out number 3 in a moment. I'll be watching you round the loft. Yeah, that is so creepy, and I've not spotted that before. You can get that grass straight out before you get in bed later. I do actually have here. I do have an LED lighting strip which plugs in. I've disconnected it temporarily. I actually forgot to reconnect it before doing the scenics. Can you just see it there? Which does give loads of different colours of lighting effects. I need to get it rewired in. I'm not going to put it back on that. So, I know Leamington is, our bed is directly underneath that bit. Yeah. So I think what we'll do is, before we shoot off, and obviously we get number 3. We've been going 1 hour 8. I was hoping to keep these new series to everyone. Tell everyone about when my wife walked in with £160 worth of trap. Tell everyone about when the wife walked in with £160 worth of trap. I don't know. Right, let me move my iPad and let me grab a drink. So, I'm going to quickly give you a brief showing. And for doing this, I'm going to have to put the camera back on the stand, so bear with me. Right. So I'm putting the camera on stand in front of here. Ooh. Right, okay. So here is the area that I did previously. Now, let me take you in for a close look. You can see it's not very good, but it's okay. And I've got over that area at the back there to do as well. But what I'm going to do is I want to use this bit because if I put the light on, does it get too bright? Tilt that away. I'm trying to darken it a little bit because the lighting is actually... Okay, so let me turn that so I can bring you a little bit closer still. So this is the area I did previously, up to that beam there. Try and get the camera straight. Now this is, I'm just going to have a play around showing what I've already done here. Wow, and I'm actually going to ask. In fact, I'm actually. Have we had the link for Leamington Station in the chat, please, moderators? Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Leamington. Go check him out. Some great work he's been doing, some electronics work and fitting these point motors. Right, so this is what I've done previously. It's okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a small section of it so you can see the comparison from before, what I've done before, to what I'm going to do using this. Yeah, we're going to use, what shall we use? We're going to use 2mm autumn, 4mm autumn, and 6mm autumn. We're going to use the autumn so it stands out a bit against the lighter grass that we've already done. Now, what you should do is get some basing glue, but a bit of PVA is good as the job. I'm just literally going to cover that in PVA. Really soak it so it gets into the thick fibers. And basically, what I'm doing is I want to flatten the static grasses that I've already put on. I want them to flatten down and kind of stick down. Okay, so we're doing a block. This is how you can recover stuff that it's not quite worked out. Looks like a soggy roll. And we'll go all the way over to the other side as well. Now I'm glad I'm doing this actually because I've got parts of the baluster over here and the static grass that's actually peeled away. Oh, that's a bit too much. Spread that up. Don't worry about PVA being too much. It dries clear, so you can put as much on it as you want. So we've got a good thick area there. We'll just spread it about. Really give it a good dousing. Okay. That's nice and thick and soaked in now. You can see it's flattened off the grasses. You can see now there's a dip created where the grasses have squished down. Now, from experience, the camera may go off. That I have been told. So I've just emptied what? Autumn 2mm. Okay, that's what we're going to be putting in. Autumn 2mm. It's a 30-gram bag, and so I've done quite a bit. And it just shows it's in there. So what was left? Oh, just get it on camera. Put it in. It's in there. You see the base plate. Screw the lid on. Now with the 2mm, I did mention at the beginning, don't put the unit upright, otherwise it will just all flood out. So there's me little pointer. In fact, I'm just going to lift the camera up a little bit so you can see the action. Oops, camera nearly fell off the table then. Lift it up a little bit. So there's me pointer. I'm going to power it up. There it is. It's now on. And with the 2mm, I'm trying to do this backwards actually. I'm going to change hands. So I'll hold it in this hand. So with the 2mm, we hold it at the edge. And basically, you just keep that in front and we shake it over. And you can see it's sticking to the glue already. Ooh, don't want to tip it over too much. And straight away, that's made a massive difference. I'll do around this side as well. I can see the grass being pulled out of the adapter. There we go. That straight away And let's have a look how much is still left in there, because I've got a feeling there's not much left in there now. That might have been... There's absolutely loads still in there. You saw what was in there. You can see still loads in there. I'll put that now back in its bag. Now, you might have thought, you think it's gone on a bit too much. Well, when you've taken the grasses out, then you can obviously use it completely. If you go back over it, just literally hold that like that, it will, whoops, no, touched it then. It will lift the grasses up. Now, bearing in mind, this is only thin, so it will tuft it up a little bit. I don't know why I'm shaking it, because there's no grass in it now. So if it's maybe if it's come out a bit too thick, not a problem. Just douse over like that. Now straight away you can see, I'll just take that in for a closer look. You can see a big difference compared to what I did before to what's done now. Now that's only the 2 mil. So the effect is not there yet that we're looking for. The full effect is not yet there. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get some 4 mil. This is where it starts to look interesting. So I don't need as much 4 mil as we did the 2. Oh, there we go. Got, in fact, it's about as much as 2 mil I put in there. We won't use all that. Just give it a shake about. And before we apply the 4 mil, we get the layering spray. Give it a shake. You can cover your track over and stuff like that, but it's not necessary. Just give it, literally, give it a spray like that, and you'll see it glistening on the top. See it starting to glisten. That means you've got a good coating on. And so I only used a tiniest bit. So it's like a little droplets you get on it. So you'll see it's got a bit of a misting to it. We've now got 4 mil in there. There's 4 mil. It's in balls. It's thicker. We're powering on. We get our, and this time you don't need to. You can hold the adapter up a bit higher, and if you look carefully, you'll see it trying to stick to. In fact, let me go around the back. You'll see it's trying to stick to the clip, and you should be able to see. There we go. Much better. Now, I really do need to show you that now, because we've got a really good grass effect on the top. See if there you go. Look at that now. Compare that to before to now. You can see, take the camera down, you can see the spikiness of that grass against the roof. That looks so much better. Really quite overgrown. That's as simple as it is. And I'm not finished there yet. So what we need to do, I'll just tilt the camera back down. So you can see the colour difference as well. It's really starting to stand out so much better and more natural. And I used hardly any of that 4 mil. As you can see, there's the 4 mils that's still in there. So I'll put that back in the bag. That's a 6. That's a 4 mil. So let me put that back in its bag. You know, these products will go such a long way. And now we're going to go on to the 6 mil. Again, don't need that much. Just going to put a small amount in. That should be plenty. I'll just fasten that bag up. So I've got 6 mil in there now. And again, what we do, we get the layering spray again. And this time, you don't want as much. So from a distance, just a little tiny bit. That is literally it. I could literally have just gone across that whole area, but I wanted to show you, give you the effect of what's going to be achieving here. And I will do the whole area over time. So 6mm, powered on. There we go. Power's on. Here we go. And it's not, you don't need as much. Nowhere near as much is needed. That is literally it. Maybe a little bit more on the sides. And it might not quite clump up. There we go, it's going. There we go. Turn that off before I mute myself. And that is about it. That is the transformation of using WWS products and the applicator. Finished. And that's just quickly what? Done just in a few minutes. And there's little things you can do. You can do a little effects. One thing you say you can do is you can get your grasses and you can tuft it up like that. You can create little patches where you don't want it to flatten down. Create some balls, things like that. Rough areas underneath stuff. You can rough it up a bit so it does not look so uniform. To give that flattened weed-like look. That's how simple it is. These are the techniques that I've been learning, courtesy of others and Martyn's advice. I will be putting them to good use even more as we progress. So let's have a look at the chat for the final shout out tonight. So the final shout out tonight is going to go to, yeah, the more you do, the better it'll get. Yeah, definitely. I've found as I've gone along using these products, you get used to the product and how to manipulate it to give you the results that you're after, and that is definitely well worth it. So third shout out for tonight. Third shout out for tonight is going to be. Oh, good evening, Heritage Line. Didn't see you dropping in. Thank you very much for joining us. Third shout out for tonight. Finnerton Central. You can have the shout out. Finnerton Central. Need some foxes. I've got some animals. Don't worry. There will be some animals featuring on the layout. I think the face is already enough. Finnerton Central. You are shout out number 3. Look at the shape of the ground in the natural bowls. Use lush grass as that patch will hold more water. Where you get more sun, use straw or dead grass. Indeed. That's what I've got the patchy grass for, so I can create that. It looks good already. Thank you very much. And I've got the added advantage, obviously, it's going over already. That's the beam, by the way. Going over an already scenic area. This, by the way, this will be getting extended out, so it's not as straight down. And we're going to be bringing this down, building it up a little bit more. So that's coming in a future video. So from that, which looked a bit rough and ready, I will be redoing that little bit over there as well, to a more lusher look. But this is going to be tree lined as well. There's going to be trees along here, lots of undergrowth, and I will be adding some of the patchy grass. I wanted the 6mm to give it a really good overgrown look. And once the trees and stuff like that go in and get the bushes on, and maybe even a bit of a fence or something down the centre, maybe as a bit of a separation. That's something I'm quite liking fences at the moment. We'll see how it goes. Stuart isn't in the building. Thanks, Jason. You didn't need to do that. I don't need to do it, but I choose to do it because we're all part of the community together. Finnerton Central. Check him out. Give him a subscribe. Hit the like. Hit the thumbs ups. Hit the bell. Select all. And keep up to date. Finlayton Central is undergoing a big revamp of his plans, and his layout is coming along. He's been doing some serious woodworking today. Kick the like button. Yes, give it a good kicking. But if you damage your screen, it's your fault. Karate chop that like button. I'm sure the wife would appreciate that, sir. Oh, right, Brenton. Take care, Jack. Stay safe, stay well. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much to one and all. So once more, before we do shoot off, we're going an hour and 20. We'll give it another few more minutes. There we go. That is the scene set so far. That has been the work that we've done. I've done just in the last few days. Let me just tilt the camera so I can take you in for a closer look. We'll have a scan through there. There's my little footbridge, the style that I've made using the same wood cut-offs from. I don't know if you can actually see that stuff. Can you see it? Yeah, you can just, there you go, you can just see it now. The wooden slats and the post. There's going to be a public footpath sign and a stop listen sign going on that for people who are walkers. And then we've got the footpath along and off into the trees in the distance. So I have excelled my skills. I never, ever thought I would ever achieve scenics of this, I would say, great level. It's just shown that I can do it. It's shown if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I am rubbish at scenics. Is the applicator still on? No, it's switched off. Don't worry. Look, it's switched off. And then we go over to the campsite, kind of, where we're going to have a couple of tents and a little campfire, maybe. A Boy Scout place. And maybe even put a little wooden pier going out over the lake for the fishermen. Maybe. Just little tiny bits and bobs like that. You can hear that tube. It's not, it's what it is. It's my wire scraping on the wood. Don't worry. Yep. I'm reading the chat and my camera's going high up. And so there we go. That's the scene set. So, yes. Highly recommend. Are they any good for model railways? Indeed, they are. They are excellent products, and I will look forward to using much more of their products over time. As you see, I've done all that, and it's only, it fell on the floor, the only one I've really used a lot of is the Autumn 2 mil, which I'll probably have to get my hands on a little bit more of that for when I do my next scenes. So yeah, Autumn 2 mil is definitely the biggest one. That's my scatters that I use for coating the trees. And obviously the fast tack glue for gluing the bits and bobs of bushes down. Absolutely superb. Highly recommended. Definitely great for model railways. Great little. Actually, someone wants to grab a little screenshot there. Let me take the yoo-hoo out, actually, because don't need that in it. There we go. Grab a little screenshot of that. There we go. There we go. Excellent stuff. So let's bring the camera back onto me. Let's put that back down there. There we go. So a little bit longer than I was hoping for this episode, but there's been so much. I'm so pleased with what I've done there. I just felt that it was essential to show you how much progress has been achieved, and I've really, really excelled my own skill levels. If anybody who has got any questions and you're watching this on the replay, please put them in the comment section below. If you are not already and you have enjoyed this show, do look out for previous shows that we've done on previous projects around the layout, and also other shout outs for other channels. Please do subscribe. Go check out the playlists for YouTube Tuesday. This is series 4 we're on now. So yeah, there's 3 other series to go and check out. So if you've enjoyed this show, please give it some thumbs up. Highly appreciate them all. And also, if you want to see other videos, there will be other video links popping up in the after replay somewhere here and here probably, and a subscribe button somewhere else on the screen, probably across my face just to cover it over. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for the moderators for doing link sharing for me. I hope if you've got any further questions, those who've watched this live, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me either by private message or via a comment in the chat before the show ends, or in the comment section below. Again, thumbs up, guys. Appreciate them all, and subscribe. And if you do really want to show some support, you can show support by donations via the PayPal link, which is also in the description below, or by channel memberships. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. This is going to be me saying goodnight to you. Hope you stay safe, stay well. I'll see you again next Tuesday, and maybe there'll be a video on a layout update coming out during the week. I'll see what I can do. But until next Tuesday, thank you very much for joining me. Oh, one last thing. If you want to see me briefly again, I'll be on the Wally channel tomorrow, 2 p.m. Check me out on there. So until next Tuesday, take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and remember, that all-important thing is to keep on modeling. Take care. Bye for now. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. I'll see you next week.